Well, hi, this is Pete, and today I'm with Sarupa Shah, and we're going to talk about the leaps that people make in terms of their thinking, or have to make in terms of their thinking, when they leave permanent employment and move into setting up their own company or working for themselves. Now, Sarupa works with a lot of people in this area. Talking of area, she's currently on the phone, but at a zoo. So if you hear animal noises and things in the background, don't be alarmed unless she starts screaming, in which case we can assume that the tiger's got out. So with that introduction, Sarupa, are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi, Pete.
Hi. So if you'd just like to explain a little bit about the sort of mindset stuff that people have to go through and some of the issues that your clients face when they make that scary jump, that would be brilliant.
I think the thing that I've noticed is the great shock from being salaried, where an employer drops money into your bank account every month and suddenly realising you're it. And I think that's where people kind of fall down this hole where suddenly all this stuff about whether they can make it, whether their business idea is going to work, something that they may have been very passionate about, or something that they were very, really wanted to do, and they, even if it's well thought out, suddenly when the kind of proverbial hits the fan and they're having to launch something or set up a shop or open an online store or whatever they're doing, that's when they suddenly realise, hang on a minute, this is me putting myself out there. Will anybody want me? And it's that kind of thing that I work with people on. It's actually that inner mindset of knowing that, first of all, you've got to give it a go. What's the worst that can happen? And people worry about losing money, but you can always make it back again. It's learning from things, and it's about having the courage to step out there and the commitment, because what I also find is, the idea when I worked in employment, sometimes you can have the odd day where you're a little bit unproductive and you're talking about what was on the telly the night before, but when it's your own business, it is down to you. So it's really rolling up the sleeves, having a very good work ethic and commitment, and at the same time knowing that this stuff's going to come up where you're going to panic and have anxiety. And I always think if my knees aren't knocking, then I haven't pushed myself enough.
Yeah. Well, you worked in the NHS for a while, didn't you?
I did, yes, I did. I worked for social care, worked for Department of Health, and then, in the NHS for a number of years. And it's something that I would love to, dip back into in terms of consultancy, for sure. But
you're going from a really big organisation with a lot of support and a lot of colleagues into the unknown. I guess I went through a similar thing. I used to work for a major oil company, and it's one thing to be in a big organisation thinking, I'm better than this, I can go on my own and I can do it, but it's quite lonely once you've made that jump, isn't it? At least incredibly, because motivation comes from being, certainly for most of us, part of a team, having someone to bounce ideas around with, there's a whole thing that suddenly goes, and for most people that set up, you don't always necessarily get an office. You're working from home as well, which happens to be where you hang out and, do lots of other things. So it's a sort of discipline. And I think the important thing has been to find other people who are in that same boat with you, so you can network and get support in different ways. And not, because I think the mindset that I have to shift is that if I don't make it work on my own, that means I'm a failure and it's not meant to be. And it's realising it's okay to ask for help. Because in work, we're always being sent on training. Even in these times of austerity, training doesn't stop. It might have decreased, but, we have training, we have induction, we have mentoring, we have, supervision, all these different things where we're just getting support to develop and stay on track. So I think when you set out on your own, it's finding those support networks are really, really crucial and key, and quite often people think that's a step they can just ignore or forget about, and I think you should forget those. It's at your own peril, really. Yeah, that's something which I found. Once I left, then suddenly a lot of the people that you're at work with who were, friends and colleagues,
see you in a different light. You've deserted them. You're out of their clique, and you've got to develop your own network, because it's a horrible thing to say, but sometimes the people that are left probably don't want you to be successful because you've made the jump and been brave, and they're still stuck having not made that jump.
Yeah,
it's not a very nice thing to say, is it? But it's true.
But it is true, because if you think about it, I mean, I sort of remember from my younger days even, sitting, the conversations that people would have after a few drinks about the dream of what they wanted to do, and very few people do find that kind of ability to step out of the 9-to-5 paid employment. And obviously at the moment people are often being pushed out because companies are becoming leaner and more efficient. Whether that's right or wrong is obviously a whole different conversation. But so people are finding themselves where the paid employment rug has been pulled. So the opportunity is there to actually do something that perhaps they thought was a win or in another life. They can give it a go now, but, and why not? So it's a great opportunity, I think, for people. But I think don't underestimate the relationship with money and actually the importance of network and the structure and commitment that needs to be there more than ever when you're working for yourself.
Well, let's try and come up then with a few tips for people that are leaving a big organisation, either voluntarily or on purpose to set up on their own. Maybe you can just come up with 3 tips that would help people on that transition, whether it's money, whether it's emotional. Let's try and mix it up a bit, then I'll see if I can come up with a couple at the end.
So I think business planning is one, definitely. Write a plan. It doesn't have to be in any particular format, but it's more about the kind of get your vision, get what you want to happen, over the next 6, 9, 12 months, and start to kind of get very, very clear and focused. So you've got a kind of map that you can start to follow for the rest of the year. So that would be my number 1 tip, because we've got the ideas in our head, but we actually need to get them out. And if you're getting them out, they'll probably grow, evolve, and become more coherent than usually our thoughts allow things to be.
And what would you do? Stick that on the walls, scribble it on a whiteboard, or
whatever?
How would you actually
I think, that depends on what. For some people, it's about drawing circles, and looking at each month. I like to kind of do things out as a mind map, and then underneath that, I do for each bit that I want to happen in each month, and I write down, I'd go into the figures and et cetera, but I think it's an evolving process for people. But if you're starting out, get really clear on what you want to achieve, because sometimes we want too much to start off with. So you need to, make it realistic. You need to make it, viable and feasible that it's going to happen. It's no point trying to run 10 disparate arms of a business when you've never done it before. Focus on one thing and then work out how you're going to grow and expand over the next 9 to 12 months. So I would say do it whatever way feels right. Because for me, if I'm told here's a format, I feel suffocated. So I like to be a bit creative with it.
Okay, so however is more comfortable, get it out there so that it's not in your head. It's some form of external expression, perhaps. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, so let's have another one. Number 2, I'm putting you on the spot. I know. I hope you're not in a lion pen or anything. I can hear it.
No, I'm not.
In the background.
I've just left the walls, so I'm okay. So number 2, I think, would be definitely to get yourself a business coach. Yep. Or whatever it is that you need, type of coach that's going to support you. If nothing else, for someone that you can bounce ideas around with, who helps you keep accountable, motivates you, tells you when you're being off the wall and, completely losing the plot. You've got someone that you're paying, and not family and friends who, of course, mean well. But, often I find when you go to people like that who you have an emotional connection with, they feel they have to give you critical advice. And you can get 10 different critical bits of advice that can just spin you in a circle, and immobilise you. So get somebody that you're paying, who's professional, that can help you. And probably open a few doors and network you with the right people.
So that will give you some support emotionally, and also the benefit of their experience. A lot of coaches have messed things up in the past so that you don't have to, so that you can, they'll tell you what doesn't work as well as what does work, which is just
it's a shortcut. Yeah. Absolutely, shortcuts and bypass. It's lifelines that they can give you. So absolutely, and get someone that you are happy with, but that's got a good track record as well.
Okay. So the third one then, is there anything to do with that kind of money fear that they can they can help themselves with?
And obviously some of the way I work, for some people it would be a little bit on the woo-woo side where I look at the kind of energy of money. I think it's something that it's like going to the dentist every, 6 months, or the opticians that we do on an annual or 2 yearly basis. It's just to actually look at your relationship with money. So from the kind of the structure of your finances is one side, but the other side is, are you pushing yourself? Are your prices right? Have you become, are you pricing to pacify yourself, or are you pricing in a way that values you? So these are things I think that take an extra bit of courage to look at. So I would say, explore that, have it there with you, walking almost side by side with you as you're in your business, I think, to really kind of expose where you're playing small or holding back, or not growing or expanding your business. And what you'll find underneath those layers, it is the money, it's the money stuff. So, there's lots of books or people that you can talk to, work with, one-day courses, different types of things where you can actually go and explore your relationship with yourself and the confidence that you're allowing to show out.
So don't suffer in silence on your own, I think, isn't it? And get out there. Your mobile signals are a little bit wavy. Have you gone back into the woods again?
No, we're not. Not quite. But it's just we're surrounded by trees, unlike normally in London. So I don't think Vodafone know how to make it work here.
So you've got trees and we've got police sirens and God knows what.
Yes.
But we can still hear each other. Okay, so that's a brilliant 3 tips. I would add, from my experience, that you want to get out there and network. Either, a lot of these breakfast meeting things, you might not make a lot of money by meeting people there, but you'll hone your networking skills. And use social media, but not too much, because I know I'm guilty sometimes of sitting on Facebook for days at a time, making myself feel better and having fun, but it can get addictive. So network, but not too much. Get out of the house, because working at home isn't as great as everyone thinks it is. If that's all you do, it can get quite isolating.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, I said that we were going to be on the phone for, what did I say, 5 minutes?
About that.
Yeah, we're coming up to about 13 or 14, I think, now. So perhaps time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? Perhaps we should sort of wind it up a little bit. But I'm sure people will want to know more about what you do and how they can connect. So do you want to give a shout out with your contact details? I'll also put them in the text below the video. But if you want to give it a shout out now, perhaps people can go and check it out.
Have a look.
More info.
Yeah, it's sarupashah.com, which is sarupashah.com. But just check out the link that you're putting in the email, and pop over and say hi and let us know if anything here today has just caught their attention. It'd be interesting to know people's journeys of them moving out of jobs or getting more serious about their business.
Well, that's brilliant. Thank you, and thanks for making time out of your day. So that's one thing you can do when you're self-employed, isn't it? You can go to the zoo when everybody else is at work. I'm sat here in an office and you're at the zoo.
It's a perk of being your own boss. I can be a bit hard on myself sometimes, but today I let myself have a day off. It's great.
You enjoyed the sunshine, and thank you very much for making time in your day to spend a bit of time on the phone with me. And
Pete.
Thanks very much. Keep in touch, yeah?
Okay, take care.
All the best. Bye for now.
Okay.